Welcome back to another episode here on Linux Hub. Today we're going to be taking a look at the latest snapshot release of LinuxMint. But today's video is going to be a little bit different. Basically, I'm not going to show you three different installations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you one installation, which is going to be the same for all three of them. So if you see the way one is installed, basically you know how all of them are installed. They all use the Ubiquiti installer. It's pretty much the same on every system that it's on, with minor changes to the ISO writer, depending on whether they add something new or tweak it or how they do it. But it's basically all the same. The same information goes in and it produces the same result. So here, I'm just going to go ahead and run through the installer. And then when we take a look at the systems, we're going to compare all three systems, meaning we're going to compare Cinnamon, Mate, and Xfce. We're going to look at all three different releases. They're all LinuxMint. They're all 21.2, but we're going to look at all of them at the same time, sort of, like you'll see. Basically, we're going to look at, say, we'll do one section. We'll look at Cinnamon, run through that section. Then we'll go to Mate, run through that section. And then we'll go to Xfce and run through that section. So basically, we're going to be looking at all three different editions of LinuxMint 21.2 all at once. But the installation, I'm only going to show you one installation because there's no need to show you all three of them being installed. All right. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and start the installation. All right. The Ubiquiti installer has is set up here, and we see that our language set up as English. So we're going to click on continue. If you're on a different language, then select it. Our keyboard layout is English, US. Click continue. Install multimedia codecs. I always do this on VMs and live systems. I always install the multimedia codecs because you need those for just a lot of DRMs and things like that that you need to get installed so everything works correctly out of the box. So install multimedia codecs, yes. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to, but I'm saying I always do. And I always do the erase disk and install whatever system it is I'm installing. I always set it to erase. So if you want to do something else like partition a disk, maybe you want to put two systems on it, you would click on something else. All right, where are you? My location is selected as Los Angeles, and that is correct. Now I add my user info. Give it the super hard password. And personally, I always select to log in automatically just because I'm doing these videos. But on a personal level, I wouldn't suggest this. It's always suggested to have to type in your password to log in, especially on laptops and things like that. But like I said, for these videos, I always select login automatically just for ease of use. And it's installing. So while it's installing, I'll go ahead and pause the video. And believe it or not, I actually have all three installing right now at the same time. So should make things go a lot quicker. So I'll see you back once we're all done and we have all three systems set up and ready to look at. Because I am going to have all three of them open on the same virtual machine. Well, not the same virtual machine, but on my system, there's going to be three different virtual machines that are open at the same time so we can go through all of them. Installation is now completed, so I'm going to go ahead and restart the system. So just like I said, I'm only doing the installation on one of them, but we're looking at the Cinnamon version, the Mate version, and the Xfce version. All right, so let's go ahead and restart, and then I'll show you how I have all three of the systems open. All right, if you can see right here, I have three instances of LinuxMint open. The first one is Cinnamon, the second one is Xfce, and the third one is Mate. So once we're ready, we're gonna take a look at all three of them. Like I said, I'm gonna break it down into sections so we can look at them all. Okay, welcome back everybody. We are on the Cinnamon desktop, and we have our welcome screen open up. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at it. So the first section is welcome to LinuxMint. Welcome to your new operating system. This welcome screen will guide you through your steps, show you how to find help and where to get more information about LinuxMint. On behalf of the development team and everyone involved in the project, we'd like to thank you for choosing LinuxMint. We hope you'll enjoy using it as much as we enjoy working on it. Have a great time and don't hesitate to send us your feedback. That's your welcome screen at LinuxMint. I'm going to go ahead and click Let's Go, and this will open up right here where it says First Steps. You can see we have desktop colors, system snapshots, driver manager, update manager, system settings, software manager, and firewall. So these are all different things you can set up here from your welcome screen. Then below that we have our documentation, and here you can check out the documentation itself, launch it. It'll open up a separate either web page or new link, PDF file. Then you have new features. If you want to take a look at new features, click on the launch, and then we have release notes. And below this section, we have help. We have two forms of help here that are offered by LinuxMint. One is their web forums. Another one is the IRC chat room. So if there's something you need help with, you can easily click these. And last but not least, we have a contribute. Here, if you want to help out the team at LinuxMint, just click on launch. And that there is your welcome screen. This section right here is ticked on. So if you tick it off, the next time you boot your computer, it won't show up again. But if you want it to show up again, just keep it ticked on. I don't need it, so I unticked it and I'll click off. Here we are on the welcome screen on LinuxMint Xfce. As you can see, it's pretty much identical to the one we just looked at. So everything looks to be the same. Seems to follow suit through each system. So you can see right here, LinuxMint 21.2 Xfce. Clicking on Let's Go brings us to the exact same first steps. Then we have our documentation section, help, and our contribute. So it's exactly the same as LinuxMint 21.2 Cinnamon. Everything is identical. Like I said before, unticked for it not to show up again when you boot up. And here we are on the Mate desktop. LinuxMint 21.2 Mate edition. And as you can see, basically the exact same welcome screen. So we have the first welcome to LinuxMint message. We have the first steps, documentation, help, and the contribute. So as you can see, everything's exactly the same. And that's our welcome screens. Okay, so now we're back on the Cinnamon desktop. And what we're going to look at now is going to be our panel. So basically, we're going to look at the panel, and we're going to take a look at the system tray, the pinned applications, and the applications menu. So we're going to look at the system tray, pinned applications, and application menu. All right, so here we're on Cinnamon. Let's take a look at the system tray, which has a clock, volume rocker, internet connections, removable drives, update manager, and a clipboard manager. Well, that's actually not a clipboard manager. It looks like it's a report. So, all right, that's our system tray. And then as our pinned items, we have a terminal, Firefox, and a file manager. These are our pinned items. And then our application menu. This is the Cinnamon application menu. So here we have all applications, and this will give us a list pretty much of everything on here. Then we have accessories, graphics, internet, office, sound and video, administration, preferences, and places. Places is basically your folder layout. So if you open up a folder, you'll have your home, documents, music, pictures, all that. And that's what this is right here. And it's also showing the mounted drive, which is the ISO we use to install it. And then we have recent files. Then here on the left, we have some pin or favorites, I guess. And you have like Firefox, have a software manager, system settings, terminal, and files, which is just opening up a folder. And then you have your session. You have your lock screen, log out, and quit session. And that's pretty much your panel, system tray, pinned applications, and applications menu on Cinnamon. Now let's take a look at Xfce. Okay, now we're on the Xfce desktop. So let's look at our system tray. So right here we have the time and date here. We have the volume. And we have a button here that just says computer. And it just shows our presentation mode. Then we have our internet connections, update manager, our system reports, and we have a notification manager. Then as our pinned applications, we have the Thunar file manager, the Xfce terminal, and the Firefox web browser. And then we have our applications menu. And like I said, this is the Xfce version. So they're using the whisker menu. So we have favorites, recently used, all applications, accessories, graphics, internet, multimedia, office, settings, and system. And then we also have our system settings here, the settings manager, and we also have a lock screen and our logout section. And this is the panel and applications menu on Xfce. Now let's take a look at Mate. All right, we are now on the Mate desktop. So same thing, we'll take a look at our panel. Look at the system tray, pinned items, and applications menu. So this one is a lot more simpler. We just have a date and time, volume rocker, internet connection, and update manager. And then our pinned items is going to be our file folder, a file browser, terminal, and Firefox. And our application menu here, as you can see on Mate has its own style of application manager. So basically set up with your favorites to show by default. And then on the left, you have places, which is your folder layout. And then you have systems like software manager, package manager, control center, terminal, lock screen, log out, quit. So to view like your programs, like in the other menus, you have to click this right here where it says all applications. Clicking on that now opens up that says all. And below that you have accessories. And you have your graphics, and internet, office, sound and video, system tools, administration, and preferences. And that is your menu system on Mate. All right, now we're going to go back up to Cinnamon and take a look at some other things. Okay, we're back now on the Cinnamon screen. And just going to take a look at some basic applications. You know, if I go through a big old list of applications, it's pretty much going to make this video extended very long. So I'm just going to go through the pinned applications on each one just to keep it simple. So first one here is going to be our terminal. And I believe this is the GNOME terminal, but let's see. Yeah, it is a GNOME terminal 3.44.0. And this is the preferred terminal on the Cinnamon edition. And this is what's pinned on your panel. So I'll go ahead and close that. Let's see if we have htop out of the box. We don't, but we can do sudo app install htop neo fetch, just so we can look at the system. This shouldn't take long at all, so just go along with that. See, it's done already. Then I'll go back to htop. So take a look at that. Let me make it bigger. You can see we're running 760 megabytes out of 2 gigabytes. And our CPU here, each thread is barely working. So we're doing good on LinuxMint Cinnamon. And this right here is your terminal. Oh, you know what? Before I close that, let's take a look at NeoFetch. And here you can see it's LinuxMint 21.2. Kernel is 5.15. Desktop environment, Cinnamon. All right, now I'll go ahead and close this down. All right, next to that we have our web browser, which is Firefox. I don't think this is, I think this is regular Firefox, not ESR, but let me just double check. Yep, it's Firefox for Linux. Oh, it's actually Firefox for LinuxMint 001 or 1.0. I guess they just started this, but you can see right here it's 115.0.2. Updates disabled by your system administrator. So this is the version that Mint prefers, so that's why they have it installed like this. And that's your web browser. And then we have our file manager. Yeah, so right here you have your documents, downloads, music, pictures, videos, where you place your basic, it's your basic folder layout. So if you have documents you want to store, you put them in documents. Your downloads, go to downloads. You can put your music in music to make it easy to find. Your pictures, you put them in pictures. Public is public. Then you have a templates folder and video for your videos. And I believe this is Nemo. Yep, Nemo 5.8.4. This is your file manager on the Cinnamon edition. All right, now let's take a look at Xfce so we can go through and take a look at the pinned items there. And here on Xfce, we have the exact same pinned items, only they're just a little different. For example, here we have a file manager also, but it's not the same one as in Cinnamon. Here on Xfce, we have a Thunar, but you can see it's the same basic structure for your folder layout. And we have Thunar 4.18.4. So yeah, it's basically the same thing. You got your documents, downloads, music, pictures, public, templates, and videos. The structure is identical as on Cinnamon in pretty much every system. Then we have our terminal, and here I want to say this is the Xfce terminal, but let's look at the about just to confirm. Yep, Xfce 4 terminal 1.0.4. And this is your preferred terminal on the Xfce system. Now you can see why each version has different things. I mean, a lot of people say that, you know, it's all the same, but in reality, it's not. It is, but it's not, if that makes sense. It's just subtle differences that are preferred by the users. Same thing on here. Do we have htop automatically installed? Let's find out. We do not, so we'll do a sudo app install htop and neofetch. I was going to spell and, but I don't need to. All right, like I said, this shouldn't take long. There, and it's done. Start. All right, this one's only 630 megabytes out of 2 gigabytes of RAM. It's looking real good. Xfce is always a good one when it comes to resources. And the CPU is barely working also, so we're doing good. Now let's do a Neo fetch. All right. LinuxMint 21.2. The kernel 5.15.0. And the desktop environment Xfce 4.18. And this is your terminal. Next to that, we have our web browser. Same thing, Firefox. I'm going to assume it's going to be the custom LinuxMint one also, so let's confirm that. And it is, same as the Firefox browser we saw before this one. It's completely identical. All right, moving along, let's check out the Mate desktop pinned items now. And we are back on the Mate desktop, and we're going to take a look at the pinned items here. So again, I believe the file manager and the terminal are going to be separate programs. Same thing, they're both file managers and terminals, but they're not going to be the same as in Cinnamon and Xfce. So first we'll open up our file manager. Like I say, the basic structure is the same. They look the same. They perform the same. They're just not the same. And this is Caja 1.26.0. And this is your file manager on Mate. And then the terminal, I'm not sure if it's a separate terminal or not, but that's what's good about the about. Yeah, Mate terminal 1.26.0. So yeah, Mate runs its own terminal. I mean, you can use any terminal you want here, but usually a desktop installs its preferred version of whatever it is you're choosing. File manager, terminal, things like that. And same thing as before. Take a look to see if we have Xstop installed. Most likely we don't, so we'll do a sudo apt install Xstop and Neo fetch. And the -y in the end is so that I don't have to click yes for everything. It just does it automatically. That's why I put -y. Okay, download looks like it's going to be a little bit slower here because probably repositories, but it still did it real quick. And also running 666, somebody's favorite number. 2 gigabytes of RAM, not bad. CPU is doing real good. Again, all these systems seem to be running smooth as butter. They're doing it, and they're doing it well. Now let's take a look at NeoFetch. Okay, same thing. LinuxMint 21.2. Kernels 5.15. And the desktop environment, Mate 1.26.0. And that's your terminal. And of course, we have the Firefox web browser. Again, I'm just going to assume that it's the same version as the other two. Yeah, and it is 1.15.0.2, which is the custom built for LinuxMint. All right, LinuxMint also has another version called, I think it's Edge. It's one of the new it's one of the new versions of LinuxMint. So let me just open up their web page real quick. So see right here, they have the Cinnamon edition, they have the Mate edition, and the Xfce right here. But they also have a separate one called Cinnamon Edge. And I believe the difference on this one is that it comes with the latest kernel. So it says an Edge ISO image is also available for the Cinnamon edition. This image ships with a newer kernel to be able to support the latest hardware chipsets. If you cannot boot the regular editions, we recommend you try the Edge ISO instead. So basically it's Cinnamon, but with the latest kernel and latest software compatibility. All right, let's get back to Cinnamon, and we'll take a look at some theming. All right, we're back on the Cinnamon desktop, so we want to take a look at some theming now. And I'll open up a file manager just so we can see the changes as they take place. And to get to the themes, we'll go to our settings. And right here we have a button that says themes. So basically you have your styles here on Cinnamon. So you can go like to Adwaita. You see how everything changes up a bit. Then you go to like high contrast. Changes up the icons. And then you have your Mint L, Mint X, and Mint Y, which is the default. And then on the appearance part, you have like mix, dark, and light. So let's say if you wanted to be dark, a dark theme, just click on dark. If you want it to be light, just put it on light. And I believe you can do that with any of them. So if you're a Mint L, you want it to be a dark theme, same thing right there. If you want it to be mixed, you can use mix. I don't know if Adwaita has, yeah, I'm pretty sure Adwaita works the same way too. So yeah. So boom, if you want it to be dark, you can set it to dark. Or if you want it to be a light theme, you can set it to light. And that's your themes on Cinnamon Edition, LinuxMint. Now let's take a look at wallpapers. So right click on the screen, click on change desktop background. It'll open up the wallpapers. And from here, just a single click, and you'll be able to change all your wallpapers. And then how LinuxMint, with each version, they give it a new code name. So let's say like the older ones. Well, I think the newest one is Vanessa. So you click on it, and it'll give you a stack of wallpapers that are associated with Vanessa, which is the code name for the version. Then let's say Vera has its own. Some are similar, some are different. Looks like they're all different. Then you have Victoria. All right, and that's your backgrounds. Next, we'll take a look at Xfce. And all right, now we're on the Xfce desktop, so let's take a look at theming. So we'll open up our settings. And right here we have a button for appearance. Click on that, and that brings up our theming options. Let me open up a folder just to see the changes as we make them. Put these in the middle. So right now it's currently on, well, it doesn't show me which one. Oh, yes, it does. We're on Mint White Aqua. So, you know, you have your standard Adwaita Dark, high contrast, and then you have your Mint L's. And then your Mint X's. And then your Mint Y's. All right, and that's how you change your themes. And then if we go back to all settings, we have we can also change the window manager, which is the border around the window. So right now it's set on Mint Y, but you know, we can change it to default, the lower, high DPI, HDPI, XHDPI, Cody, and then you have your mints. So I'll just leave it on that one. And that's pretty much a theme in it. Simple to set up, not too big. Now the wallpapers, right click on the screen, go to desktop settings, and we have our wallpapers. There they go, loading up. And single click changes your wallpapers. No mystery there. And you can see it's pretty much have the same wallpapers here. There are going to be some differences, but you can see we saw this one on cinnamon, a few of the others. So it's all basically the same wallpapers. You can set it to whatever you want and just forget it. Or if you wanted to, you could open up Firefox, download images on your own, and set those as wallpapers. So that's themes and wallpapers. Now let's take a look at the Mate desktop. All right, here we are on the Mate desktop. So we're going to take a look at theme in here. So from here, we just want to open up Control Center. And Control Center should have right here where it says change theme. This is pretty much it right here. Then I could just leave this open. I don't even have to open a file manager. I could just do it with this. You can see right now it's set up the custom, but you have your mint, same thing, mint L's, mint Y's. You have your dark themes, your light themes. And you notice every time you click on one, it automatically moves into the custom spot. So if I click on that, it moves to the custom spot. You have your mint L's, your mint Y's, and your mint X's. So it's all the same. Same theming as everywhere else. So I'll just set it to mint L dark blue. Just leave it at that, and I'm good. And now for wallpapers, same thing on pretty much every system. You right click on anywhere on the screen, and it'll either say change desktop background, or it'll give you it'll open up a section where it gives you those options to change the wallpapers themselves. All right, there we go. It's opened up, and it looks pretty much identical to the others. If you remember that one, this one, and that one. So basically it's the same. Just select whatever wallpaper you want to use and set it. Whatever makes you feel happy, go with it. And that's pretty much it. All right, so these are the basic subtle differences between Cinnamon, Xfce, and Mate. I mean, we could sit here and go through every single difference, but it'll be a very long video. Just wanted to show you the basic differences and similarities between them, so you can kind of get a grip on them and see what version you think is going to work best for you. Like I said, this is Cinnamon, Mate, and Xfce. And they also have a Debian edition, which is pretty much its own. Debian doesn't separate with Cinnamon, Xfce, and Mate and all that. I mean, you could put Cinnamon on Debian, it'll work, and it'll look exactly the same. But you know, they just have one version they release, and from there you can just set it up the way you want to. All right, so that's gonna cut it for this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it. I hope I added enough information to make sense. I know it could get confusing at times, but hopefully it all stuck. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end it now, and I'm out.